Well, the Washington Commanders did it. They clinched the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, which will give them a chance to draft a quarterback. Also, Ron Rivera will be gone after today. We're going to discuss that and a lot more. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. All right, so that's it for the Washington Commanders 2023 NFL season. It wasn't a great one, and I'm really just glad the football's over and we're moving on to a new era. The new era under, Josh Harris truly starts this off season, where they will hire a new, completely new front office, new president, and then also a new head coach, and they'll have the number 2 overall pick, $90+ million in cap space, maybe a little bit less depending on what moves they make. They have so many things going for them. Obviously, the roster needs work, but let's talk about everything in today's video. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on the game because, again, the more important things are the bigger picture things. The number 2 overall pick, Ron Rivera being gone. But, they did lose today to the Dallas Cowboys 38-10. It's pretty similar to the other Cowboys game, earlier in the season, where it's kind of close going into halftime, or even for this game a little bit before halftime. In the second half, they just blew us out. They could have, they took their foot off the gas. Howell was awful. I'm sorry. You can defend him all you want, but he should not be the franchise quarterback next year. And I know in some circumstances, QBs get more time, but let's keep it real. It's a 5th round pick. He's also going to be with a new regime that has the number 2 overall pick. He's not going to be the quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. I think he can be a really good backup in this league and maybe even be a starter down the line. But right now, at this point, he's just not that guy. He was pretty good for like an 8-9 week stretch, but the last 6-7 weeks it's been awful, man. Every single game he has an interception. I think he has 21 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, and 21 interceptions on the year, something like that. And today the interceptions were bad. Like on the first one, he did get hit in the head on the play. It should have been a penalty, but it still wasn't a great throw. And the other one was, I forgot. Oh yeah, he overthrew Terry. His deep ball was supposed to be good, and it was last season. The one deep ball he threw was good, and it was in college, but it's been awful this year. I mean, he overthrows, underthrows almost every single time. Terry barely got any deep balls this year, and his yards per catch was like the lowest of his career and I think it's because of Howell or maybe Bieniemy. And then when, Brissett came in, he got 2 really deep passes from, Brissett threw them to Terry. One was a touchdown and one he got down at the 1. So, and I'm so happy Terry got his 1,000 yards. 4 seasons in a row with 1,000 yards. And I know he didn't have an amazing year, and he did have some uncharacteristic drops, and he didn't have the production you might have wanted. Didn't have a lot of big games. He had 1 big game against the Rams, but still had 1,000 yards with bad quarterback play 4 years in a row. That's a franchise record. And all the people, hating on him, whatever, you can do that because a lot of people were hating on him in the middle to end part of the season. But he keeps balling out, and I think with a good quarterback, he's a elite receiver, and maybe he's not top 5, and I never thought he was top 5, but I think he's in that top 10, top 12 range with a good quarterback. And right now, he's not in that range because he doesn't have a good quarterback and he doesn't have the production to show it. But I think if he does get a good QB, he'll show what kind of receiver he truly is, and a good coordinator as well. So I just want to give the props to Terry, and I'm happy they got him the ball, but they almost didn't happen, man. We were one play away from it not happening. I guess a little bit more. They could have gotten a few more plays done, but I would have been really upset if that didn't happen. So I'm happy they got it with Terry. He got 6 catches, 56 yards. Antonio Gibson, was okay. And honestly, besides that, there's really nothing to talk about in the game. Sam Howell took way too many sacks, 4 sacks. On defense, I thought Khaleke Hudson was good. Emmanuel Forbes, absolutely garbage. I'm sorry. I know there's going to be people that hate on me because I hated on the pick right when it happened. And you guys think I'm just hating on him because I want to be right. No, but he just wasn't good. A lot of touchdown, a lot of big play to CeeDee Lamb, and missed tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle. I mean, he had like 1 pretty good tackle, but he's got to be better, man. And he's going to have to be on the team next year because he's a first-round pick, but it's not looking good for him, man. It's not looking good for him. Another bad pick by the Ron Rivera era. And besides that, I mean, Tucker Addington, the long snapper, had a good play. Special teams got a punt blocked. They also blocked a kick. Quan Martin, that's the only other guy I think we need to talk about. Quan Martin was a stud, had an interception, had a bunch of big tackles, and then, of course, got hurt early on, like maybe in the second quarter. But 4 tackles, 3 solo tackles. Thought he had a good game. And I tweeted this out. Emmanuel Forbes, take notes. Quan Martin wasn't great in training camp, and then he got hurt, had a concussion. He just wasn't great in training camp in the preseason. Struggles early on, doesn't play like any defensive snaps. Then gets a concussion, and still when he came back was struggling. But he's been making some plays, maybe one solid play every week. And then the last 2 to 3 weeks, he's really shown something. Kind of like similar a little bit to what Derek Forrest did in that Giants game in, 2021? The last game of the season. So at least he's showing me something. Emmanuel Forbes has shown me absolutely nothing. But Quan Martin, at least he's showing some good things, and you can feel okay about him. Like, he can be a piece in the secondary. You can't rely on him, but at least he's shown you the potential. With Forbes, St. Juice, nothing. I mean, St. Juice, I don't, honestly, I do not want him. Is he a free agent? I'm trying to think. I don't know. He's not a free agent, but I don't want him here next year. Like, I guess you can keep him on the roster because he can be an okay depth piece, but he should not be a starting cornerback in this league. Kendall Fuller is the only cornerback I want to keep as our starting cornerback. And if Forbes has a great leap next year, that's great, but I mean, I'm not seeing it. And that's kind of really it. Who had a touchdown today? Let's see. It was Brian Robinson had a receiving touchdown, did have a fumble. But Brian Robinson, him, Cosme, and Terry are really the bright spots on offense. And those 3 are the guys you want to build around on offense. Terry, Brian Robinson, and Sam Cosme had a little bit of a brain fart there. Jahan Dotson, I'm sorry, had a sophomore slump, didn't really do much. And could be a product of Sam Howell, could be a product of Eric Bieniemy, or could be a product of himself. But he just has been a little bit disappointing. I mean, very disappointing this year. But he's a piece, but he's not necessarily a piece you want to build around just because, he had a really down year this year. I don't know what his exact numbers are. I mean, I can look right now, but it's got to be 500 yards playing every single game as a first-round pick in your second year. I mean, he played more games this year and got fewer yards. I mean, that just can't happen. That cannot happen. And he also had fewer touchdowns in more games. It was not a good season by Jahan Dotson. We're going to get into all that major stuff in the offseason. But right now, what we got to focus on is the Commanders have the number 2 overall pick, and they have a chance to take a quarterback. Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels. Those are contenders for that number 2 spot. But at the very minimum, you're getting the number 2 quarterback in the draft. At the worst, you're getting the second choice at quarterback because, your number 1 quarterback could be different than Chicago's number 1 quarterback, or if New England moves up, their number 1 quarterback. So, and they also could, maybe Chicago doesn't take a QB and the Commanders can stay, put at 2 and take Caleb, or I just don't think that's going to happen. I think one of 2 scenarios will happen. One, the Bears will take a quarterback, which I think they should. Take Caleb Williams, move on from Fields. Fields, he's not terrible, but when you have a chance at someone like Caleb, I would take Caleb. Or another smart thing to do, trade back with a team like Washington and New England. Get the player you wanted, like Marvin Harrison or Olu Fashanu, and some, future draft capital and current draft capital as well. That's what I would do. But the Commanders aren't a good spot. They'll get Drake May or Caleb Williams. I don't think it'll be Jaden Daniels, but I wouldn't mind it. But I don't know at 2. At this point, it's very early in the process. But for me, my number 1 is Caleb Williams. I know there's people that hate on him a lot because of his attitude or because he doesn't play well against big teams. I really like him. I think he's going to be special. And I think a lot of people are going to look silly in a few years when he's balling out. That could just be me. And if I'm wrong, I'll own it. Because I've been wrong about things. Sam Howell, he had a really good, first half of the season, or at least good first half of the season. And I was like, okay, he can maybe be the franchise quarterback. and then he falls off completely in the second half. So you can be wrong. Just got to own up to it. But yeah, man, the season's over. I really appreciate everyone for rocking with me the whole year. I know it wasn't pretty, but just don't lose faith, because right now, guys, this offseason, new GM, new head coach, new quarterback, and $90 million or $80+ million in cap space. And that's all coming soon. So I'm going to be making a bunch of videos on that. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video. Peace.